Many of us often find ourselves wanting more material things, even when we already have enough. It could be new clothes, the latest smartphone, a bigger house, or perhaps a nicer car. It seems natural, doesn't it? But let's pause for a moment and gently explore what's behind this constant desire for more. At our core, the craving for material possessions often comes from deeper feelings within. Sometimes we believe these things can make us feel safer, more loved, or more successful. When we buy something new, there's a brief moment of happiness and satisfaction. But soon after, that joy fades away. Why does this happen? Because real contentment cannot be found in things that are temporary. In today's world, advertisements surround us constantly. Every time we look at our phones or go outside, messages tell us we need more. They suggest we're missing something important. This makes it easy to believe that happiness can be bought and owned. As we repeatedly hear these messages, we begin to accept them as true. Without realizing it, we might start thinking, maybe I really do need that new item to feel good about myself. Another reason we crave material goods is comparison. When we see someone else having more or better things, we might feel inadequate or unhappy about our own lives. We start thinking that if we also had what they have, our life would be better. Yet, even after getting what we desire, there always seems to be someone else who has something even better, causing the cycle of wanting more to continue endlessly. The reality is that this craving can never truly be satisfied. The happiness we feel from material possessions is short-lived, which is why we quickly find ourselves wanting the next thing and the next. This constant craving can leave us feeling exhausted and empty inside. But understanding the root of these desires is the first step toward true peace. We do not have to stop buying things altogether, or feel guilty for wanting something nice. Instead, by noticing and gently acknowledging why we crave things, we begin to loosen the hold they have on our minds. When we understand clearly why we chase material things, we naturally start moving toward a simpler, more balanced, and peaceful way of life. It's the beginning of a meaningful journey, one that guides us away from temporary joy and toward lasting fulfillment. When our hearts and minds are constantly seeking more material things, our inner peace quietly slips away. We might not notice at first, but over time, the constant wanting creates restlessness deep within us. This restlessness can feel subtle at first, but gradually it grows stronger, making it harder to feel truly calm or satisfied. Have you ever noticed that as soon as you get something new, the initial happiness quickly fades? After a short while, your mind starts looking for the next item to desire. It feels almost endless, doesn't it? Each desire brings a temporary excitement, but it quickly turns into a longing for more, leaving us feeling uneasy and dissatisfied. This ongoing cycle can prevent us from truly enjoying what we already have. Imagine sitting in your home, surrounded by many beautiful or useful items, yet your mind keeps thinking about what else you need. Even though you might have plenty, your thoughts are still restless, imagining something better or newer. This prevents us from experiencing true peace and appreciation for the things already present in our lives. Our desires for more can also affect our relationships with those around us. When we're busy chasing after the next object, we might lose sight of the important connections with family and friends. Instead of spending quality time together, we find ourselves focusing more on earning money or acquiring possessions. Gradually, this pursuit of material things can cause distance in our relationships, leaving us feeling even more alone and empty inside. Moreover, chasing material desires often leads to stress and anxiety. To afford the lifestyle we crave, we might need to work harder, longer hours, or worry about debt and finances. Stress then accumulates silently within us. Without realizing it, we start carrying heavy burdens, making our minds and bodies feel tense and unsettled. This stress slowly chips away at our inner peace and prevents us from experiencing genuine joy and calmness. However, there is hope. By gently observing how our material desires affect our peace, we take a step toward a calmer life. We begin to notice how seeking too much disturbs our hearts. With awareness, it becomes possible to slow down and make different choices. We can decide to pause, breathe deeply, and find contentment in what we already have. And as we practice this, we gradually rediscover a peacefulness that is far more valuable than any material possession could ever provide. When we chase after material things, we often overlook the hidden costs involved in our pursuit. At first glance, buying something new seems harmless. We think, it's just money, or I deserve this. But the true cost runs deeper than our wallet or bank account. Let's gently explore the less obvious ways chasing possessions affects our lives. One hidden cost is time. Each time we choose to buy something new, we are exchanging our precious time for it. Think about the hours you spend working hard, earning money to afford these possessions. Every moment spent earning that money is a moment that you can't get back. Time is our most valuable resource, yet we often trade it easily for material goods, without considering if the exchange truly makes us happier. Another hidden cost is energy. Constantly wanting and pursuing things can drain our emotional and mental energy. For example, consider how much time and mental effort goes into thinking about, researching, and comparing products. Even after buying something, maintaining and taking care of possessions requires energy. The more we own, the more we must manage. Our energy becomes scattered, leaving us less focused on what genuinely matters in life. Our relationships can also suffer when possessions become too important. While chasing material goods, we sometimes unknowingly neglect our friends, family, or loved ones. We become distracted by our own desires, forgetting that human connection brings more genuine satisfaction than any object could ever offer. Slowly, we might notice our relationships becoming shallow or distant, costing us the deeper happiness and fulfillment found in genuine connections. Stress is yet another hidden cost of chasing material things. Trying to afford and maintain our possessions can lead to worry, anxiety, and financial pressure. The stress of debt, or the burden of keeping up with others, often lingers silently in our hearts. We may become worried about losing what we've gained, making it hard to find inner peace or fully enjoy life. This stress can even harm our physical health, further reducing our well-being. When we gently pause and recognize these hidden costs, we become clearer about our choices. By asking ourselves if the new possessions we chase truly add lasting value or joy to our lives, we can begin making wiser decisions. We may find that simplicity and peace are more rewarding than the endless cycle of wanting more. By being mindful of these hidden costs, we can move forward into a life filled with true contentment, balance, and joy. In our daily lives, we often believe that joy comes from owning things. Yet, real happiness can be found beyond material possessions, in places we might not always notice. Let's gently explore how we can discover deeper, lasting joy that doesn't depend on what we own. Think back to a moment when you felt truly happy and peaceful. It might have been a quiet evening watching a beautiful sunset, taking a walk in nature, or simply laughing with friends or family. Often, these meaningful experiences bring us a deeper kind of happiness than any object we could buy. They touch our hearts and stay with us, bringing comfort whenever we remember them. Joy beyond ownership also appears when we give freely to others. When we share our time, kindness, or attention, A special feeling of warmth arises in our hearts. This happiness comes not from receiving something, but from opening our hearts and giving. Helping a friend or neighbor, listening to someone in need, or simply being kind to others, creates an inner joy that lasts far longer than any possession. Another beautiful source of happiness is learning to appreciate what we already have. When we take time to slow down and fully notice our surroundings, gratitude naturally arises within us. Think of simple moments: drinking tea slowly, feeling sunlight on your face, or noticing the beauty of flowers blooming. Each moment can become rich and full if we learn to experience it fully. By appreciating what is already present, our hearts become lighter, less troubled by the desire for more. Focusing on relationships also brings lasting joy. The time we spend genuinely connecting with others, laughing together, having meaningful conversations, or supporting someone through difficult times fills our hearts deeply. Strong bonds with family, friends, or community members nourish us in ways that material possessions simply cannot. These connections remind us that we are valued and loved, giving our lives deeper meaning and fulfillment. Finding joy beyond ownership doesn't mean that having nice things is wrong. Instead, it gently reminds us that real, lasting happiness often comes from places we may overlook. When we turn our attention toward experiences, gratitude, generosity, and connections with others, we discover that joy is always available, even without material goods. By choosing to focus on the richness of life itself, rather than on things we can buy, we open the door to a deeper and more fulfilling joy. This joy remains with us, comforting and guiding our hearts, long after material pleasures have faded away. Many people believe that having more things will bring them happiness. Yet deep down, we often sense this isn't true. The happiness that comes from owning many possessions fades quickly, leaving us once again searching for more. Let's gently consider how true happiness can be found without having excess. Have you ever noticed the peacefulness you feel in a simple moment? Perhaps when sipping tea quietly in the morning, enjoying fresh air during a walk, or sitting calmly with a loved one. These moments don't require anything extravagant or expensive. Instead, they bring a quiet, lasting happiness, precisely because they are simple. True happiness often resides in the beauty of everyday experiences. When we live without excess, our minds become clearer and calmer. Excess possessions create clutter, not only in our homes, but in our minds as well. Every object we own takes up space in our thoughts and energy. Imagine the relief and ease that come when we let go of unnecessary things. As we simplify, we naturally feel lighter and more content. Our hearts become less burdened, allowing happiness to flow more freely. Real happiness also appears when we clearly understand our own true needs. When we pause and ask ourselves, "Do I really need this?" Or, "Will this truly make my life better?" we become more mindful. Gradually, we learn to distinguish between things that bring genuine joy and things that simply fill a temporary desire. This clarity helps us appreciate what truly matters, bringing deeper satisfaction without constantly wanting more. In addition, when we stop chasing excess, we gain freedom from the endless cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. Instead of worrying about getting more, we can appreciate and enjoy the richness already present in our lives. A simpler life often means more time, more peace, and more meaningful connections with others. These are sources of true happiness, far more valuable and lasting than any physical object. By gently reducing excess in our lives, we also rediscover a natural sense of gratitude. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we become aware of the abundance already around us. Kindness, friendship, nature, and everyday beauty. Our hearts open naturally, feeling fulfilled without constantly needing more. Living without excess does not mean giving up comfort or joy. Instead, it invites us to experience happiness in a more meaningful, lasting way. By consciously choosing simplicity, clarity, and appreciation, we uncover a happiness that stays with us, a happiness rooted deeply within our own hearts. Everything in life is constantly changing, yet many of us struggle to accept this truth. We try hard to hold on to our possessions, believing they'll bring lasting security or happiness. However, when we gently accept that nothing lasts forever, we open our hearts to greater peace and freedom. Look around you. Notice that everything, even our most treasured belongings, slowly changes or fades with time. Clothes wear out, technology becomes outdated, houses need repair. This constant changing reminds us that nothing we own is truly permanent. Rather than feeling sad or anxious about this, we can learn to gently embrace it. Accepting impermanence helps us to live peacefully, without desperately trying to hold on to things. Impermanence isn't only true for objects. Relationships, health, and circumstances also change over time. Friends move away, loved ones age, and situations that once brought happiness might no longer do so. While this may feel uncomfortable, recognizing this truth can be deeply freeing. It teaches us to fully appreciate every moment, knowing that each is precious, precisely because it doesn't last. Sometimes we resist impermanence because we fear loss. We're afraid of losing possessions, relationships, or situations that make us feel secure or happy. But this fear often creates even greater stress and unhappiness. When we let go of this fear and acknowledge that everything changes, we can experience life with less anxiety and more openness. Our hearts become lighter, less burdened by worry. Accepting impermanence also guides us toward a life of greater simplicity. Knowing things won't last forever encourages us to cherish what we have right now, rather than constantly seeking more. It invites us to carefully choose possessions and experiences based on genuine joy and meaning, rather than temporary excitement. This careful choosing creates a deeper sense of satisfaction and contentment in our lives. When we embrace the reality of impermanence, gratitude naturally grows within us. Each moment and each relationship becomes more valuable because we understand it won't last forever. Instead of taking things for granted, we see clearly how precious our lives are. This awareness fills our hearts with gentle, lasting appreciation. Impermanence isn't something to fear. It's something to accept gently and openly. By embracing change as a natural part of life, we free ourselves from attachment and suffering. We learn to live fully and meaningfully in every moment, knowing that the beauty and richness of life comes precisely because everything is always changing. Many of us form strong attachments to the things we own. It could be our home, our car, clothing, jewelry, or even smaller items with sentimental value. These attachments seem natural, yet they often bring worry, anxiety, and a fear of loss into our lives. Let's gently explore how releasing these attachments can bring deeper peace and freedom. Think about something you own that you deeply treasure. Perhaps it's a special gift, an expensive item, or something that holds strong emotional memories. While these items are important to us, becoming too attached to them can cause emotional stress. We might constantly fear losing them or worry about them getting damaged. Instead of enjoying our possessions, we find ourselves feeling tense or anxious, unable to fully appreciate them. Attachment is also closely linked to our sense of identity. We may believe that owning certain possessions defines who we are, gives us status, or earns the respect of others. Yet, When we identify ourselves too closely with what we own, we become fragile. Any loss or damage to our belongings can feel deeply personal, as if our self-worth has been diminished. This often leads to feelings of unhappiness, insecurity, and dissatisfaction. Gently releasing attachment doesn't mean we must immediately give away all our possessions. Instead, it means slowly learning to hold them lightly. We can remind ourselves that these items are temporary and that our happiness doesn't depend solely on them. By cultivating this gentle mindset, we start feeling more relaxed and at ease. Our possessions become things we appreciate and enjoy, rather than things we desperately cling to. One helpful way to release attachment is to practice generosity. Sharing what we have with others helps loosen our grip on material things. Giving something away, even something small, can remind us that true happiness lies not in possessing, but in sharing and connecting with others. This practice gradually opens our hearts, bringing more freedom and peace into our lives. Another gentle step is simply being mindful of our attachments. Noticing how tightly we hold on to certain things helps us gradually let go. With gentle awareness, we recognize when attachment arises and how it affects our happiness. Slowly, we begin feeling less troubled by the fear of losing things, and our hearts naturally become lighter. Releasing attachment brings true freedom, the freedom to enjoy our possessions without fear, anxiety, or constant worry. When we let go, even a little, we find deeper contentment, a quiet joy that doesn't depend on material belongings. Our hearts become peaceful, open, and able to fully enjoy life as it unfolds. In today's world, we often believe that a fulfilling life means having many things or always being busy. Yet, true fulfillment is often found in simplicity. Let's gently explore how living a simpler life can bring deeper contentment and lasting happiness. Think about the feeling of walking into a clean, uncluttered room. There's an immediate sense of peace and ease, isn't there? The same is true when we simplify our lives. When we choose fewer possessions, fewer commitments, and less complexity, we naturally experience greater calm and clarity. Life becomes lighter, and our hearts become more peaceful. When we have fewer things, we often notice greater appreciation and enjoyment of each item we own. Imagine having just one comfortable pair of shoes instead of 10 pairs we hardly wear. With fewer choices, we can fully enjoy what we have, feeling genuine gratitude each time we use it. Instead of always seeking something new, we become truly satisfied with simplicity. Simplicity also gives us the gift of time. With fewer things to manage, organize, or maintain, we gain more moments to spend on what truly matters. Whether it's enjoying a quiet morning, reading a good book, or spending meaningful time with family or friends, simplicity creates space in our lives for genuine joy. Our days become less hurried, less stressful, and more fulfilling. Living simply also helps us become clearer about our values. Without the distraction of excess possessions or constant activity, we begin to understand what genuinely makes us happy and satisfied. We start focusing more on experiences, relationships, and moments of quiet contentment. Our hearts naturally turn toward kindness, generosity, and genuine connections with others, bringing deeper meaning into our lives. Simplifying doesn't require sudden drastic changes. It can be a gentle process, step by step. Perhaps it begins by simply donating unused clothing, reducing unnecessary expenses, or clearing clutter from our homes. Even small steps towards simplicity help lighten our emotional burdens, bringing ease and a deeper sense of well-being. When we live a simpler life, we also discover that we need less than we imagined. Our desires naturally become quieter, and we find lasting contentment within our own hearts. The constant craving for more fades, replaced by a peaceful satisfaction with the richness already present in our everyday experiences. Embracing simplicity gently guides us toward lasting fulfillment. It opens our hearts to joy in the smallest moments and teaches us that true happiness is often found in less, not more. In simplicity, we discover a fulfilling life that's peaceful, meaningful, and beautifully balanced. In our journey through life, it's natural to want things we don't yet have. Yet, constantly desiring more can leave us feeling restless and unsatisfied. A gentle and powerful way to shift this feeling is by practicing gratitude. Let's explore how gratitude can help us find deeper joy without needing to chase more possessions. Gratitude means appreciating what we already have, rather than focusing on what we lack. It's about noticing the good that already surrounds us, like the warmth of sunshine, the taste of our morning coffee, or the smile of someone we love. When we regularly pause and acknowledge these simple things, our hearts naturally become more content and peaceful. Imagine how your day might change if you started each morning with gratitude. Before you reach for your phone or think about tasks ahead, simply take a quiet moment to reflect on something you appreciate. Perhaps it's your health, your family, or the simple comfort of your bed. By starting the day gently in gratitude, you set a peaceful tone, lessening the desire to constantly chase after new things throughout the day. Practicing gratitude also helps us appreciate things we might otherwise overlook. Our possessions, big or small, become meaningful when we truly notice and value them. The clothing that keeps us warm, the meals that nourish us, or the comfortable chair we often sit in, all these things quietly enrich our lives. Instead of always wanting newer, better items, we begin to cherish what we already have. Gratitude transforms ordinary moments into meaningful experiences. Gratitude can also ease our sense of worry or anxiety about not having enough. When our hearts are grateful, we naturally feel a sense of abundance. Instead of feeling empty or incomplete, we become aware of the richness already present in our lives. Our minds stop craving what we don't have, because they are filled with appreciation for what we do have. This gentle shift naturally brings calmness and satisfaction. Moreover, gratitude helps us strengthen our relationships. By openly expressing appreciation to friends, family, or colleagues, we deepen our connections and build trust. These stronger relationships often bring more genuine happiness and fulfillment than any material possession could provide. By choosing gratitude, we enrich our lives in ways that are deeply meaningful and lasting. Practicing gratitude doesn't require special techniques or complicated rituals. It's simply about gently turning our attention to the good things already present. In doing so, we naturally discover that we need far less than we thought. Gratitude gently leads us away from endless wanting, guiding us toward a life filled with quiet contentment, peace, and lasting joy. In our daily lives, it's easy to confuse what we truly need with what we simply want. When we're unclear about this difference, we often find ourselves caught in an endless cycle of wanting more. Let's gently explore how clearly distinguishing our needs from our wants can lead to greater contentment and peace. Our genuine needs are simple: food, shelter, clothing, health, safety, and love. These are things essential for our well-being and happiness. Wants, on the other hand, are often driven by desire, comparison, or temporary pleasure, like a bigger home, the newest phone, designer clothes, or expensive gadgets. While there is nothing wrong with having wants, becoming too attached to them can lead to restlessness and dissatisfaction. Take a gentle moment and reflect on your own life. Consider the items you recently bought or desire to buy. Ask yourself honestly, is this something I genuinely need for my well-being, or is it something I simply want? Often, just by asking this simple question, our minds become clearer. We start noticing how much of our stress or unhappiness comes from chasing after things we don't truly need. Understanding the difference between needs and wants doesn't mean we must deny ourselves enjoyment or comfort. Instead, it means we become mindful and intentional about our choices. When we clearly understand our genuine needs, we naturally become satisfied more easily. We learn to value the simple things that sustain our happiness and stop chasing after fleeting desires. Seeing this difference clearly can also help ease financial stress. Often, our financial burdens grow from pursuing things we don't truly need. By gently evaluating our spending habits, we might discover we can live comfortably with less. This reduces anxiety, allowing us more freedom, peace, and enjoyment in our lives. Furthermore, when we distinguish clearly between needs and wants, we naturally experience more gratitude. We begin appreciating how our genuine needs are already met. We notice small joys more fully, such as having good health, a warm home, nourishing food, or meaningful relationships. Gratitude fills our hearts, gently reducing our desire to seek happiness through endless material things. Practicing this clarity doesn't require dramatic changes. It begins simply by being honest and mindful about our choices each day. Gradually, this gentle awareness helps us find lasting contentment. We no longer feel trapped by endless wanting, but become peacefully satisfied by meeting our real needs. By clearly seeing our needs and wants for what they truly are, we invite peace, simplicity, and fulfillment into our lives. We naturally move away from constant desire, discovering instead a calm and lasting joy. In today's world, we're often encouraged to believe that more is always better. Yet, true contentment arises when we gently learn to be satisfied with less. Let's explore how embracing this idea can guide us toward deeper peace and lasting happiness. Think about times when you felt truly peaceful. Often, these moments are surprisingly simple. Sharing a quiet evening with someone you care about, watching rain fall softly, or quietly reading a book. None of these experiences require anything extravagant. They simply ask that we slow down and appreciate what's right here, right now. When we choose to be content with less, we free ourselves from constantly seeking new things. Our minds become calmer because they aren't always chasing after something more or better. Instead of restlessly looking outward for happiness, we gently turn inward and discover that we already have everything we truly need. In this gentle awareness, a deeper contentment naturally blossoms within our hearts. Living contentedly with less also creates more space and clarity in our daily lives. Having fewer possessions means less clutter in our homes and less chaos in our minds. Imagine opening a closet or a drawer, filled only with things you genuinely use and appreciate. Immediately, there's a sense of ease and comfort. You can truly enjoy and value what you have without the distraction of excess. Furthermore, contentment with less naturally reduces stress and anxiety. When we stop chasing after more things, we often experience less worry about finances, debt, or how to maintain our lifestyle. Our hearts become lighter, freeing us to focus on the meaningful parts of our lives, like relationships, experiences, and self-reflection. As our stress gently decreases, our happiness and peace naturally grow. Choosing contentment with less also helps strengthen our relationships. When our focus moves away from possessions, we have more time, energy, and attention to devote to people we love. Our connections with friends, family, and our community deepen, bringing genuine happiness and warmth into our lives. In the simplicity of sharing moments together, we find a profound joy far richer than any material thing can offer. Learning to be content with less doesn't mean settling for a life of deprivation. Instead, it gently invites us to rediscover what truly brings fulfillment and peace. It's a simple, mindful approach to life, guiding us toward deeper joy and lasting happiness. By embracing contentment with less, we gently step off the endless path of desire, discovering instead a quieter, more peaceful, and truly meaningful way of living. Many of us carry through life the heavy weight of possessions, expectations, and responsibilities. We believe these things bring security or happiness, yet often they burden us deeply. Today, let's gently explore how living lightly, without unnecessary weight or complexity, can offer us a sense of true freedom and inner peace. Imagine walking through life with less weight on your shoulders, fewer possessions to worry about, fewer commitments that drain your energy, and fewer unnecessary worries filling your mind. Living lightly means choosing simplicity, letting go of excess, and creating space for clarity and joy in our daily lives. In this lighter way of living, we naturally discover a gentle and quiet freedom. When we reduce unnecessary possessions, we experience more physical and emotional freedom. Our belongings require care, maintenance, and attention, often consuming valuable time and energy. When we gently let go of things we no longer need or use, our minds feel clearer and calmer. The space we create in our homes and our lives allows peace and contentment to flow more easily into our hearts. Living lightly also means gently letting go of expectations we have for ourselves or others. Often we carry heavy burdens trying to meet unrealistic standards, thinking we must always do more, achieve more, or have more. By releasing these expectations, we gain freedom to accept ourselves and our lives exactly as they are. Our hearts feel lighter, more open, and less burdened by disappointment or frustration. When we live lightly, we find more freedom in how we spend our time. By reducing unnecessary activities or commitments, we create space for things that truly matter. Moments with family, quiet reflection, or simply enjoying nature. Instead of feeling rushed and pressured, our days become peaceful, balanced, and fulfilling. This lighter approach also enhances our relationships. Without heavy expectations or distractions, we become more present and open-hearted with others. Our conversations become deeper, more meaningful, and genuine. We experience greater joy, warmth, and connection in these authentic relationships, offering us a happiness far richer than material possessions could ever provide. To live lightly doesn't mean we must give up everything we enjoy or love. Instead, it invites us to gently evaluate what truly adds value and happiness to our lives. It asks us to let go of what weighs us down, creating room for true freedom and deeper peace. We naturally begin to find joy in less rather than always needing more. By choosing to live lightly, we open our hearts to a gentle, lasting freedom. Freedom from anxiety, fear, and restlessness. Life becomes simpler, more peaceful, and deeply fulfilling. In this peaceful simplicity, we discover a quiet joy and contentment that lasts. In a world where many of us often think about what we can get or keep, generosity offers a gentle path toward true joy and fulfillment. Today, let's explore how generosity, giving freely without expecting anything in return, can deeply transform our hearts and enrich our lives in meaningful ways. Generosity is not just about giving material things like money or gifts. It can also mean giving our time, attention, patience, or even a kind word or gentle smile. When we share something from our hearts, we experience a special kind of happiness, one that comes from giving rather than receiving. This joy is peaceful, deep, and lasting, far beyond the short-lived happiness that comes from acquiring new possessions. Think about a time when you helped someone without expecting anything back. Maybe you listened carefully to a friend in need, volunteered your time, or gave comfort to someone who was sad or lonely. In those moments, you probably noticed a warm feeling inside, a quiet, gentle happiness. This feeling comes because generosity naturally opens our hearts, reminding us of our shared humanity and interconnectedness. Generosity also helps us gently let go of attachment to our possessions. When we freely share what we have, even small things, we become less afraid of losing or not having enough. Our hearts become lighter, freer, and more trusting. We discover that true security and happiness don't come from holding tightly onto what we own, but from connecting deeply with others through acts of kindness. Practicing generosity regularly changes the way we see ourselves and the world around us. Instead of focusing on scarcity, thinking there isn't enough, we begin to recognize abundance in our lives. We notice the many ways in which we're blessed, and gratitude naturally fills our hearts. This gratitude then inspires even more generosity, creating a beautiful cycle of kindness, contentment, and inner peace. Generosity also gently transforms our relationships. When we share openly with others, our connections grow stronger, deeper, and more meaningful. People naturally respond warmly to kindness and generosity, creating bonds of trust and compassion. Our lives become richer, not in possessions, but in meaningful connections with others, connections that bring true and lasting happiness. It's important to understand that generosity isn't about giving until we have nothing left. Rather, it's about gently sharing what we can, when we can, with sincerity and compassion. Even small acts of generosity can profoundly impact both our hearts and the hearts of those around us. By embracing generosity, we open ourselves to a deeper, kinder way of living. Our hearts naturally expand, filling with joy, peace, and fulfillment. Generosity transforms not only our own lives, but also gently touches and enriches the lives of everyone around us. Many of us spend our lives chasing outer wealth, money, possessions, status, or achievements, believing these will make us truly happy. However, deep inside, we sense that something important is still missing. Let's gently explore how shifting our attention from outer wealth to inner richness can fill our lives with deeper happiness and genuine peace. Outer wealth is often measured by material things, by what we have or own. Yet, even people who have great material wealth sometimes find themselves feeling empty or dissatisfied. Why is this? Because true fulfillment cannot be measured by possessions alone. Inner richness, on the other hand, comes from qualities such as kindness, wisdom, understanding, patience, and gratitude. It is about who we are and how we live, rather than what we possess. Take a gentle moment to consider people who seem truly happy and content. Often, these individuals have a kind heart, a peaceful mind, and a deep sense of appreciation for life. They may or may not have great wealth, but they clearly carry within them something valuable and lasting, a genuine inner richness. This inner richness creates happiness that does not depend on external circumstances. Shifting toward inner richness doesn't mean we must reject material comfort. Instead, it means recognizing that real happiness comes primarily from qualities within our hearts. For instance, when we practice kindness toward others, we feel genuine warmth and joy inside. Similarly, Patience brings calmness to our minds, even in difficult moments. Gratitude reminds us of the abundance already present, creating lasting contentment. Focusing on inner richness naturally helps reduce our constant craving for more possessions. When our hearts feel genuinely satisfied, the desire to chase outer wealth gradually weakens. Our lives become simpler, more balanced, and peaceful. Instead of feeling pressured to constantly achieve more, we become comfortable with who we are right now, enjoying life as it unfolds each day. Moreover, inner richness strengthens our relationships with others. People naturally feel drawn to those who carry kindness, wisdom, and compassion. Our connections become deeper, warmer, and more meaningful, creating happiness that truly nourishes our hearts. The joy we gain from meaningful relationships far exceeds what any material possession could offer. To cultivate inner richness, we simply need gentle self-awareness and patience. Regularly taking quiet moments to reflect, appreciate, and express kindness gradually builds a heart filled with genuine peace and happiness. These moments help us become clear about what truly matters, guiding us away from empty pursuits toward real fulfillment. By gently shifting our focus from outer wealth to inner richness, we naturally discover a life filled with true meaning, joy, and lasting contentment. Our hearts become peaceful and deeply fulfilled, offering happiness far beyond anything material wealth can provide. In our lives, it's common to think that having more possessions leads to greater happiness. But true joy often comes from meaningful experiences rather than material things. Let's gently explore why valuing experiences over objects can bring deeper and more lasting fulfillment to our lives. Consider a moment when you felt genuine happiness: a trip with loved ones, a peaceful walk in nature, a shared meal with friends, or perhaps learning something new. Experiences like these create beautiful memories that stay with us, bringing warmth and joy long after they've ended. Unlike possessions, these moments remain alive in our hearts, comforting and nourishing us throughout our lives. Experiences enrich our inner world in ways that objects simply cannot. Imagine traveling to a beautiful place you've always wanted to visit, or sharing laughter and heartfelt conversations with family or friends. These experiences awaken something deeper within us, our sense of wonder, curiosity, and connection. We learn more about ourselves and others, building a deeper understanding of life and our place in the world. Another wonderful aspect of experiences is that they encourage connection with other people. Shared activities, adventures, or moments of quiet enjoyment build stronger relationships. A simple afternoon spent with someone you care about often brings more lasting happiness than any object you might own. These shared moments create bonds of friendship, compassion, and genuine warmth, deepening the quality of our relationships. When we focus on experiences instead of objects, we naturally start living more fully in the present. Instead of worrying about what we have or don't have, we become immersed in the joy of each moment. Think of the happiness you feel when watching a sunset, listening to your favorite music, or enjoying the taste of a meal lovingly prepared. By fully experiencing these simple pleasures, our hearts become lighter and more peaceful. Choosing experiences over possessions can also simplify our lives. When we invest in experiences, we free ourselves from clutter, stress, and the burden of constantly chasing after new things. Life becomes simpler, calmer, and clearer. We begin to discover genuine joy in everyday moments, learning that true satisfaction comes from fully appreciating life itself, not from the endless pursuit of material goods. This gentle shift toward experiences can begin at any time, in small, manageable ways. It might be enjoying daily walks in nature, making time for conversations with loved ones, or exploring new hobbies and interests. Little by little, we fill our lives with memories and meaningful connections, rather than possessions. Our hearts naturally become richer and more fulfilled. By valuing experiences over objects, we open ourselves to a deeper, more meaningful kind of happiness. We discover the quiet joy that comes from truly living each moment fully and mindfully. Many of us go through life without clearly knowing what truly matters to our hearts. We might follow what society tells us we should want, or chase after possessions we believe will make us happy. Yet real happiness comes when our lives reflect what we deeply value. Let's gently explore how living according to our true values can bring peace, satisfaction, and a sense of purpose to our everyday lives. First, let's think about values themselves. Values are like guiding lights within our hearts. They help us make choices about how we spend our time, energy, and resources. Common values might include love, kindness, honesty, simplicity, family, friendship, or a desire to help others. When we live in harmony with these values, we naturally experience greater peace, happiness, and fulfillment. Take a quiet moment to ask yourself, what do I truly value? Perhaps you deeply value family, kindness, peace, or simplicity. By recognizing your own values clearly, you gain insight into what genuinely makes you happy. Often, our dissatisfaction or restlessness comes from living in ways that conflict with these values, such as spending too much time chasing possessions rather than connecting deeply with others. When we live according to our values, our choices become simpler and clearer. For example, if kindness is deeply important to you, spending time helping others or showing compassion becomes natural and deeply fulfilling. If you value simplicity, choosing fewer possessions and a less cluttered lifestyle becomes a gentle act of joy rather than sacrifice. Each decision guided by our values brings greater clarity, calmness, and purpose to our lives. Living by our values also means letting go of things that don't truly matter. Perhaps we can release certain possessions, unnecessary worries, or activities that drain our energy. Doing this gently creates more space for what truly fulfills us, bringing peace and a greater sense of meaning. Our hearts become lighter, free from the burden of unnecessary demands and desires. When we align our lives with our values, relationships naturally grow stronger and more meaningful. If we value kindness, our interactions become warmer and more compassionate. If we value simplicity, our relationships become more genuine, less complicated, and more joyful. Living according to our values helps us nurture connections with others in ways that truly enrich our hearts. Gently aligning our lives with our true values doesn't require big, sudden changes. Instead, it can be a quiet and gentle process of reflection and adjustment. Gradually, as we live closer to what truly matters, our hearts naturally fill with satisfaction, joy, and a deep sense of inner peace. By choosing to live a life that genuinely reflects our values, we discover the true path to fulfillment, a life deeply meaningful, calm, and beautifully balanced. In our modern world, success is often measured by how much we own, how much money we have, or how far we've climbed the ladder of status and achievement. Yet, deep within us, we sense that real success is about something more meaningful. Let's gently explore how redefining success away from material gains can lead us toward true happiness and genuine fulfillment. Many of us grew up believing that success means having a big house, expensive cars, a prestigious job, or other visible signs of wealth. While there's nothing wrong with wanting comfort or security, this view of success often leaves us feeling empty or unfulfilled. We might reach our goals, only to find that something important still feels missing in our hearts. True success, however, might look very different. Imagine success defined by happiness, inner peace, kindness, meaningful relationships, or the simple joy of being content with what we already have. When we shift our idea of success toward these deeper values, life naturally becomes more satisfying and balanced. Our hearts become calmer, lighter, and more at ease, no longer burdened by the endless pressure to chase after material achievements. Redefining success means gently letting go of comparison with others. When we compare ourselves to people who have more possessions, status, or wealth, we often feel inadequate or unhappy. But when we define success by our own personal values, such as kindness, generosity, simplicity, or happiness, comparison naturally loses its power. We find peace and fulfillment in living according to our own standards, not those imposed by society. This new definition of success also frees us from constant restlessness. When success is based on material gains, there's always something more to achieve, more money to earn, or another object to buy. However, when success is based on our inner qualities and meaningful experiences, our hearts become naturally content. We no longer feel endlessly driven to chase more because we already experience genuine happiness right now. Shifting our definition of success also enriches our relationships. When we focus less on gaining status or possessions, we can devote more energy and attention to connecting with others. Spending quality time with family, friends, and our community brings deeper, more genuine joy and satisfaction than material wealth ever could. Redefining success doesn't mean rejecting material comfort entirely. It simply invites us to gently recognize that true success involves more than what we own or earn. Real success arises from our capacity for kindness, peace, meaningful relationships, and joy in everyday experiences. As we redefine success away from material gains, we discover a life filled with genuine fulfillment. Our hearts become peaceful and content, guided by values that truly nourish us. Success becomes not a destination to chase, but a gentle, meaningful way of living every single day. In our busy world, we often find ourselves overwhelmed by responsibilities, possessions, and the desire for more. Yet deep inside, many of us long for a life that's peaceful and balanced. Today, let's gently explore how embracing simplicity and balance can help us create a life of lasting happiness and inner peace. A balanced life is one where we carefully choose how we spend our time and energy, allowing space for rest, reflection, and connection. Instead of being driven by endless desires or commitments, we become mindful of what truly nourishes our hearts. This gentle awareness naturally leads us away from stress and restlessness, toward a calmer, more fulfilling way of living. Imagine waking up each morning, feeling peaceful and content, rather than rushed or anxious. By simplifying our lives and gently letting go of unnecessary possessions or obligations, we can experience this sense of ease more regularly. Simplicity doesn't mean giving up joy or comfort. Instead, it means being intentional about our choices, keeping only what truly adds happiness and meaning to our lives. A balanced life also means taking time each day to reconnect with ourselves and those we care about. This might involve enjoying quiet moments alone, taking walks in nature, spending meaningful time with family or friends, or engaging in activities that bring us genuine joy. When we intentionally nurture these simple pleasures, our hearts naturally become more peaceful and content. Balance comes from gently setting boundaries as well. Learning to say no to things that don't align with our values or that cause unnecessary stress is a powerful act of self-care. When we respect our own limits, we protect our inner peace, creating space for the things that genuinely matter: relationships, rest, kindness, and meaningful experiences. Living a balanced life also brings greater clarity. With fewer distractions and less clutter, both physical and emotional, we become more aware of what truly brings us happiness. We begin to notice simple moments of beauty, kindness, or joy that we previously overlooked. Our days feel richer, calmer, and filled with quiet satisfaction. A peaceful and balanced life also naturally encourages gratitude. As we slow down and appreciate what we already have, we become less concerned with acquiring more. We experience joy in the warmth of our relationships, the beauty of nature, and simple pleasures such as good food, gentle conversations, or moments of quiet reflection. Embracing simplicity and balance isn't about perfection. It's about gently and mindfully choosing how we live each day. Over time, this approach transforms our lives, bringing deep and lasting happiness. Our hearts naturally become calm and peaceful, guiding us toward a life of true fulfillment. By gently embracing balance and simplicity, we discover a way of living that's peaceful, meaningful, and deeply satisfying, allowing us to experience genuine happiness every single day. Living fully beyond material desires invites us into a life of gentle ease, lasting joy, and deeper meaning. When we let go of the endless pursuit of possessions, we find something far more precious: true peace within our hearts. Throughout our journey, we've gently explored ways to loosen our attachment to material things. We've seen clearly that happiness and fulfillment aren't found in acquiring more, but in appreciating what we already have. By embracing simplicity, generosity, and gratitude, we naturally discover a sense of freedom and joy that doesn't depend on external possessions. Living beyond material desires brings clarity into our lives. Without constant craving or comparison, our minds become calmer and our hearts lighter. We begin to notice the beauty and abundance in everyday moments: a warm conversation, the comfort of our homes, or simply the quiet beauty of nature. Our lives naturally become richer, filled with meaning and satisfaction. By releasing the need for constant consumption, we gain back our valuable time, energy, and attention. These resources can be gently redirected toward things that genuinely nourish us: relationships, rest, kindness, and personal growth. Life becomes peaceful and balanced, guided by values that truly reflect our inner truth and joy. True fulfillment, we find, arises from living mindfully and intentionally. It appears when we choose gratitude over desire, simplicity over complexity, and generosity over self-centeredness. When we live this way, happiness becomes stable and lasting, no longer dependent on temporary pleasures or possessions. Our journey away from material desires also teaches us the value of deeper connection with ourselves and with others. By letting go of what we don't need, our hearts become open and compassionate. Our relationships naturally become stronger, more authentic, and fulfilling. We discover that kindness and genuine human connection bring joy that lasts far beyond anything material. As we gently close this reflection, please know how grateful I am for your presence here today. Your engagement, whether by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, leaving thoughtful comments, or supporting with a super thanks, truly means a lot. Your kindness and support inspire me deeply, and I feel genuine gratitude for every one of you. May your life be peaceful, balanced, and deeply fulfilling. May your heart remain open, gentle, and joyful. Together, let's continue to walk this path of simplicity, contentment, and inner peace. Thank you sincerely for your kindness.